I'll start with this. So here's the thing about email. We have collectively, as a working world, decided that we are going to communicate with each other through this medium. But everyone hates it. Very few people are actually good at it. Billions of emails go out every single day, and writing a good one that's short, clear, that actually sounds like a human, is genuinely hard work. And by the way, it always has been. And now, of course, we have AI, and the promise was supposed to be that that problem goes away. And in a way, it has. You can draft any email in seconds, but here's the deal. We've traded one problem for another. The AI drafted email sounds like every other AI drafted email on the planet. Generic, slightly off, and stripped of whatever made it yours. So you end up rewriting, or worse, sending it as is, slowly turning into a version of yourself that doesn't quite sound like you anymore. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how to get the best of both worlds. AI speed, but still keeping your voice. We're going to analyze your last 50 emails that you've sent and determine a basic writing style. And then we're going to turn that into a Claude skill, a reusable piece of context that Claude loads every single time you draft an email. So you still get to keep your voice. Let's get into it. All right, so here is our game plan. So step one, we are actually going to connect Claude Cowork to each of our Gmail inboxes, one at a time, and then pull down our last 50 emails sent. Step two, we'll have Cowork actually analyze those emails to determine our writing style. Step three, we turn that style profile into a skill file. And then step four, and I'd say this is probably the most valuable part of this process, we'll build a little human-in-the-loop review interface where it drafts a bunch of sample emails, and then we can approve or reject them one at a time to kind of refine that style. And then finally, step five, we'll package that all up into a skill, we'll install it and test it on a real email. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Sunny, and I'm a serial founder now on my fourth startup. I'm a former senior engineer at Bloomberg and Shopify, and currently an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School, where I teach tech and AI. Listen, I've been in this industry for over 15 years, building software way before AI was even in the picture. So I've made all the mistakes so you don't have to. And my goal for this video today, and really all my videos, is to help you make sense of this fast-moving AI landscape. Let's get started with our first step. All right, so the first step that we're going to do is we're going to pull down 50 emails that we have sent. Ideally, the most recent 50 emails we've sent. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably have more than one email inbox. I have one for my personal. I have one for different businesses that I've started throughout the years. So I get emails across all of those inboxes. So what you'll want to do is you will want to pull down 50 emails per inbox. I have all my emails on Gmail, and I actually have Cowork already connected to my Gmail inbox via the connector. If you don't have that set up, all you need to do is click on this little plus button right here, and then go to add connector. And then from there, you just type in Gmail, and then you'll just have to click on it and then authorize the connection to your Gmail inbox. If you have more than one inbox, you'll unfortunately only be able to connect to one inbox at a time. So you'll have to unlink it and then relink it for each inbox. I currently have it linked to one of my inboxes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this prompt. And by the way, all the prompts are going to be in one of the links below. So you'll have that for you. And this is the prompt I will be running. So I have my personal Gmail connected, pull my 50 most recent sent emails from this inbox, filter out anything under 30 words, right? Because we kind of want to get emails that are a bit longer so we get a sense of our style. I want substantive emails, not one-line replies. For each email, capture the recipient's email address, the subject line, full body, and then we're going to save the results to a JSON file named sent emails _personal. If you're connecting to a work email, you'll probably have to change this word to work and then this word to work as well so that there's some distinction. And by the way, if you don't know what JSON is, I'm going to talk about that just in a moment. In our working folder, before saving, show me a count of how many qualifying emails we have. So I'm going to hit send. And then once I hit send, we're going to now pull down all of that JSON, all of those emails in JSON format. So while that's running, I do want to talk about what JSON is. So that's JSON, stands for JavaScript Object Notation, but you can just refer to it as JSON. So JSON is just structured text. That's pretty much it, kind of like a spreadsheet, but for machines. It has rows and columns, and the AI can really read it much more cleanly than just, copy pasting a bunch of emails into an AI model. Again, the reason why it works really well with AI is that the AI doesn't have to kind of guess where one email ends and where the other email begins, because it's in these kind of like structured blocks. So it's a good format to kind of use when you are trying to download information or translate information from one system to the other. I'll show you exactly how it looks. Right, so we have this file right here, which is called the sent emails personal.json, as we articulated in our original prompt. Let's actually take a look at the contents here. So this is what it looks like. It's just a list of these self-contained units. Each unit is represented by like what's in the curly brackets, and each unit represents an email. So we have recipient, subject, date, body with everything. It's a structured format. These are all the emails here. So now we can actually have the AI analyze this in a much easier way for it to understand. So we're now on step 2, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in the next prompt. So it'll be this. So what I'm going to instruct it to do is this: read all the sent emails *.json files. So that asterisk, by the way, represents a wildcard, meaning if there's more than one sent email.json file, read all of them. For our purposes here, we're just connecting to one inbox, but you may want to connect to more than one. Analyze them together and produce a writing style profile that captures how I write. Look for things like sentence length, rhythm, opening patterns, recurring phrases, transitions, punctuation habits. Don't generalize, give me specifics. And then I want you to save the profile as this styleprofile.md in this working folder. Let's see what it comes back with. So while that's running, I want to make this larger point. Most people use AI to make their work easier, right? Faster output, less effort, as fast to completion as possible. And in the short term, that feels great. But my broader take is this: the people getting genuine leverage from AI right now are doing the exact opposite. They're actually using AI to make their thinking harder. They're using it to challenge them, push back on them, force them to be more specific. What we just did with that pushback, telling Cowork, no, be more specific, quote me directly, that's what we would call productive friction. We made the AI work harder, which forced us to think harder about what we actually wanted. The lazy version, of course, is to take the first answer and move on. The leverage version is to push until the answer is actually something good. Same tool, but completely different relationship. And this is going to come up again and again as you build with AI. I don't want you to necessarily optimize for easier. I want you to optimize for better. All right, let's move on. So here's what we got back with. It analyzed just the one file and it put together this writing profile. This is something that you should be looking at and reading and maybe even adjusting if you see something glaringly off. These are the things that will be included in your style profile. You'll have some guidance around greetings, the voice in one line, operator tone, declarative. This actually does sound like me. Sign-offs, how we want to sign off, the sentence rhythm, punctuation habits, capitalization, recurring phrases and transitions, formality calibration. That's also super important. How we approach replies, declines, pushbacks, and disagreements. We also get into some structural patterns here. What this voice does not do. So as you can see, this is a pretty rich profile, but again, because there is a depth to it, there's also a lot of opportunities where the AI might get something completely wrong. So when, you know, a Cowork session or any of your AI tools produces an artifact like this that is supposed to represent some kind of analysis on you, you want to read every line, you really want to understand what it's saying, and you want to push back where it does not make sense, because this is going to be very important for the rest of what we do in this video. Okay, cool. So now that we have this style profile, the next thing we want to do is start to turn this into a Claude skill. So quick aside, a Claude skill is basically just a little instruction file that Claude loads automatically whenever it thinks it needs it. So out of the box, Claude has a bunch of these for things like making PowerPoints or generating PDFs, but you can actually build your own skill, and that is exactly what we'll be doing here. Now, here's the thing. We are not going to package the full skill just yet. Instead, we're going to write the contents of the skill.md file, which is a very important file, because we want to test it before we commit to anything. And this is a very, very important broad principle when you're building things within AI, especially things that you plan on reusing over and over again, like a Claude skill. You don't want to just take the first draft. You want to run it a couple of times, especially ideally on a wide range of scenarios, be able to evaluate it, even be able to give it further guidance, and then you want to package it up and then start using it. And even then, once it's live, you want to have some process to have a periodic review, just so that way, you know, sometimes maybe you're writing style changes, or maybe you just got it wrong to begin with. So that's just a good mindset to have. You want to have this mindset of evaluating everything that comes out of AI. And you want to think about that evaluation standard before you even generate the thing. All right, let's actually start to build this skill.md file. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paste this prompt. Let's read it together. So using the style profile.md file, which is this file right here, we just draft the contents of the skill.md file for a skill called email voice. We'll follow the agent skills format, which should have some awareness of. We don't have to worry too much about all of this. Keep the body tight and instructions also tight. State what to do, not why. This is just like a declarative instruction guide. Aim for under 1,500 words in the body, and then save the draft as a skill.md file. Very important. We're not going to package it up yet. We're just going to test it first. All right, I'm going to send that up. Let's see what it comes back with. So while that's running, I want to just talk a little bit about the skill, these Claude skills. I mentioned in my prompt that we want to keep the body tight. And here's the deal. Once a skill is loaded into your Claude session, it actually takes up some of your context window. So if you have a 5,000 word essay, that is going to cost you tokens and potentially result in context decay. So we want to keep it super tight and just be very punchy and intentional in terms of what it says, specifically as it relates to the actual skill at hand, which is the drafting of emails. All right, so let's see what it came back with. Great, so this came back at 171. The description is 171 characters, which is great, and the body's 1,300 words. Fantastic. So let's take a look. So basically, this is the description. Used whenever drafting, rewriting, or replying to emails. Write as the user. Direct, declare. This is all grabbed from the style profile that we had. Some sentence rhythm stuff, structural patterns, reply patterns. It also has some examples of how to approach specific types of scenarios. Cool. This looks good to me. All right, so we're now on to our next step, which is this human in the loop eval. Probably my favorite part. What we're going to do is have Cowork draft a bunch of emails using our brand new skill, and then it's going to build us a little review interface so we can rapid fire approve or reject them. And whatever we reject, that feedback actually goes back right into refining the skill. Now, before we run the prompt, you want to pick 4 to 6 different scenarios for different types of emails. So For me, I picked the following. So a reply to an investor, a response to a student question, a polite decline to a vendor, a warm intro follow-up, a quick logistics reply to a colleague. So ultimately, when you pick these scenarios, you want a spread, different audiences, different vibes. So, the skill has some latitude to kind of flex a little bit. All right, so let's actually throw in the prompt. Here is the prompt. Let's read it together. So read the SKILL.md draft, which we have right here, which is in our working folder, and treat it as your voice guide for this task. Draft 2 versions of an email for each of the following scenarios. So paste 4 to 6 archetypes here. This is what we're actually gonna paste the scenarios here. Cool. So that gives us, actually, we don't need to do all that. Then generate a single self-contained HTML file called eval in our working folder that gives me a clean review interface. These are some of the requirements. All right. Let's see what it comes back with. This is probably going to take a little bit longer than some of the other prompts, but let's see what it comes back with. So while that's running, I want to talk about this research report that Vivian Ming put out because I thought it was fascinating. So they did a bunch of studies on AI usage, and only about 5% of people got genuinely superhuman results. The other 95%, of course, did not. And here's the kicker. The difference isn't which model they were using, and it's certainly not the prompts they were using. It was behavior. So according to Vivian Ming, there are 3 modes that you can follow when using AI. There's the automator mode where you basically just hand off the problem and take the answer and move on. There's the validator mode, which is you already have an opinion. You ask AI to confirm it. AI agrees because it's trained to be agreeable. And then there's the cyborg. Real back and forth, sparring with the AI. You push the AI, it pushes you back. Neither one of you is in charge. And only that cyborg group beats AI alone. The automators match AI. The validators actually do worse than AI. And here's the deal. What we are literally building right now, this review interface, is cyborg behavior baked into a workflow. We're not handing off the email problem and walking away. We're not asking AI to confirm what we already think. We're forcing a structured back and forth where the human approves, rejects, comments, and the AI updates. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Every time you use AI, ask yourself, am I being an automator, a validator, or a cyborg? Most people are validators and have no idea. The cyborg move is what will put you in the top 5%. All right, let's see what it came back with. Okay, cool. Let's see how we respond. So this is a reply to an investor. This looks good to me. Cool. Approve. Now this is reply to an investor version B. Maybe this is not formal enough, just so we can add a little bit of guidance. Reject. And then we'll approve. Glad the lecture handed. So this is a response to a student. Also talk soon, me. That's probably really bad, right? So all emails should be signed off as professor if I'm talking to a student. Okay, cool. So let me just go through the rest of these. Okay, so what's great is now it's going to copy all of these results as JSON. So now I can actually send that back to Claude and instruct them to update the SKILL.md file appropriately. So what I'm going to do is, here are the results. Please update the SKILL.md file appropriately. And you'll see that we have all of these here. You'll see all of the results here. Okay, great. So now it basically has updated my SKILL.md file based on the feedback that I gave it. So now we're actually going to move on to our last step, which is actually packaging this skill up. We'll go ahead and install it and we'll test it on a real email. So I'm actually going to paste this last prompt, apply the proposed edits to the SKILL.md file. This has actually already done that, but in your case, it may not have updated. It may just be presenting to you. Then we want to package it up. And the way it's going to do that, it's going to create a folder called email voice, going to put that SKILL.md file inside it, and then it's going to zip it. Then I'm asking Claude to walk me through how to upload it. I know how to upload it, but this will be a good prompt for you in case you need the reminder, and I'll walk you through in a moment. Great. So we have this email voice.zip file. I'm going to show this in the folder. This is the skill that we need, essentially. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this customize, and I'm going to click skills, and I'm going to click this plus button. I'm going to create a skill, and I'm going to do that by uploading this skill, which is this. And now I've uploaded the email voice skill, so we have it here. Okay, so now I'm going to test this skill. I'm going to click this new task button, and I'm going to paste this. And this is basically a student named Alex from my class just emailed me. I include information of the email itself, and basically I prompted it to draft a reply. And look at that. It just is using the skill email voice, which is exactly what we just built. So that's a good sign. And look at that. It's drafting the email exactly in my voice signed with Professor. Great. So we've successfully completed our task here. All right. So let's recap what we just built here. We took our actual sent emails from every inbox. We had AI analyze our real writing voice. We turned that into a portable skill. We tested it within a human-in-the-loop interface, and then we ultimately installed it into our Claude Cowork. So anytime that we have an email, it'll follow that skill. Now that is a real piece of personal AI infrastructure, not a one-off prompt, not a hack, a reusable system. So here's your homework. I want you to actually do this. Build your own email voice skill this weekend. Pull your sent emails, run the analysis, build the skill, and then drop your results in the comments or tag me, because I genuinely want to see how you've gone about doing this. Now, if you stuck around till the end of this video, I appreciate you. I will see you on the next one.